Are there any other failures in your life that you're thankful for?
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't think this is a failure, but I'm actually in the beginning of YouTube when I was like, I guess roughing it, like, well, so when I was at Buzzfeed, there was like an echelon of creators like Try Guys, Ladylike, etc., who were very supported. I'm sure everyone has their own definition of how well they were supported at Buzzfeed, but you know, like they were designated shows, and I was kind of like my own person existing in the world. So I wasn't a show, but I was doing all this crazy shit, like the UFC video and whatnot. And all the time I was like, God, I wish that I could just be a part of that tier. Or I wish that I had just started my YouTube channel when I was like 10 and like got musically famous, TikTok, whatever. And I'm really glad that I didn't, because I think I would have done a lot of really dumb shit and said a lot of dumb shit. Like, I'm thankful that the universe has forced me into this realm of the only way you'll be successful on YouTube is by really pushing yourself to make the best content you can. Because I feel that people can get into this very comfortable zone of, I just vlog my life or I do whatever and it's very easy and it's successful for me. And that's amazing. Fuck, I wish that I could just like daily vlog and like live my life and that's all I had to do. But I've been pushed into like, I have to make something that is as close to TV quality as I possibly can. And I think that that really helped me as a creator. You know, I'm thankful for that.
It sounds like you get like every drop, every ounce of worth out of each project or experience. It's really, I love that.
Yeah, I love Mark Rober. And
Yes,
in one
he's
of
great.
his Reddit AMAs, which I ravenously read, he was talking about how he uploads only once a month and how he probably won't increase his output. And he does that because he wants every video to be of a certain quality. And when I read that, I was like, because I'm always stressed out. I'm like, are we uploading enough? Like, our videos take so long to make, and are we getting enough views? But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. We're not going to upload it all in January, and we're going to have 3 baller videos come out in February. So I love that idea of like everything I release, I'm like, that was my whole heart, you know?
I subscribe to, I would call it like a toxic version of Zay Frank's old policy regarding, I mean, you talked about brain crack, right?
Brain
Are you
crack?
familiar? Yeah, where he talked about like ideas are essentially brain crack. Where,
yes.
Yeah, where he was like, just do it. Just get it out, do it. And then, especially with what we do, it's like we can try and do a better version of it. But I take it to a bad place of just like, and I'm never going to return to that sort of video or topic.
Like
ever
you
again.
let it go.
Yeah.
But that's also healthy too. Like at
Oh, yeah.
BuzzFeed, it was great because we would have these days called banger days. That sounds really weird. It was basically like the concept of the day was like drop everything and you have 12 hours to make a video from start to finish. And some of the most viral shit would come out of that day with people just like, what can we do? And I believe in that so hardcore. And I see a lot of value in that. And some of the best performing videos on the channel were like things we shot in a day. But also I feel like after being at BuzzFeed for 2.5 years and having that like constant thing kind of like wrung out of me, wrong word.
Hey, every ounce in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy now that I'm kind of in this place of like, I can like birth each video in a way.
Sure. No, I think when I talk to a lot of creators, it's extreme pendulum swings, right? So when you're talking about like the constant 12-hour cycle, or that's, you can get really creative, weird ideas because your brain's like, what? Why are these words together? Yes, we're going to do vegan dancing. Sure. That's a video apparently now. Whereas all of a sudden now it gives you a greater appreciation for this just completely different skill set of like, well, what if I took that several months? But that seems like, would you say that you're way happier doing the longer form thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Then would you ever dabble with, if you called it a challenge of some sort, to a
Like
24 hour challenge?
Yeah, we've done a couple that were wonderful. I did one where I lived off one single bucket of water for 24 hours. And that was to simulate the amount of water one family in a sub-Saharan African village lives off of in a day. So I was responsible for carrying this bucket of water to all my meetings, to the gym without dropping it, contaminating it, like finding a way to transport it in the car, bathing in it, washing my dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And we used it as a really cool way to fundraise for a charity, and we're building 2 wells in Africa now.
Oh, wow.
So I love that. Like, I love the shorter challenges. I think there's so much that can be done there for sure.
But just for a quick change up. That's not you moving forward.
I mean, I will always go where a good idea is. Sure. But my heart is in like really diving in. And for me, the videos aren't just like, I'm going to change what I eat and drink and train like for a month. For me, it's like, I want to be a part of this community. I want to know everything about it. When we go train, hello.
It's back.
Hello. Is this the bug that
I think
Gus had?
I think this is a smaller one, but they're friends.
Yeah. So like when we go to the police academy, I want to talk to police officers about how they feel about Black Lives Matter. And I'm not going to do this video with anyone until someone says yes. You know, I want to know all like the social issues. I'm so curious about the emotional heart of why things are the way they are, not just the process or the training.
How do you, because you seem like someone that, like, once again, you talk about like fully throwing yourself into something. How do you deal with, or do you deal with the daily news cycle?
I watched the Philip DeFranco show. Oh. I'm not even kidding. Like, no, so Garrett can back me up. I put it on in my car and I like have it play through my Bluetooth.
It works as a great podcast.
Yes, yeah. I love it.
But do you consume it in another way, or is that, I think I've talked about this with like on our special phone number. Is it kind of like your shot of poison for the day, or are you actively, to some degree, on like a Twitter or somewhere else where you're getting bombarded? I know you have notifications off, which is good. I have notifications for the news apps, and it's a nightmare.
No.
You're like, this thing's on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
how do I consume news? So when I worked at Buzzfeed, we were kind of sort of in the same vicinity as the like news trending topics team. So we would just hear about it like on our group Slack. Do people use that still?
Slack,
okay,
yeah.
great.
I mean, a lot of people probably don't, but yeah.
So Slack is like the work version of iMessage, I guess.
Yeah.
With a great GIF keyboard.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would find out just like being a part of that environment, which is something I do miss. Now I feel like I watch your show and I open Twitter. That's pretty much it. I mean, like, where else do I need to go, you know?
I mean, there are other places, but that's like, that's where I get some of my, when I talk about like spiraling and stuff, that's where I end up getting reattached to everything, is when getting messages of like, you're my main source of news. And I'm like, well, fuck, I can't do a bad job. Right. That makes me care.
But you do a great job every time.
Oh, no. Well, so when you're talking about like, I want it to be of a certain quality, there was a video, so this is on Wednesday, last week. I almost scrapped the entire video because I was like, this is not going to be good enough. But then,
why did you feel it wasn't good enough?
Part of the research process that day on those stories, the why wasn't included. A big thing that I try and talk about with my team is like, why are we talking about this? Is it just because other people are talking about it? What is the angle, right? There has to be some reason other than like keeping people up to date. So what's the impact of something? And that video at that point really didn't have it. It was kind of just like, stuff happened, and if you didn't look at Twitter, now you know. And I kind of got frustrated with it. It was kind of like noon, and I was thinking, what's the bigger failure? Is it putting out a show that I would personally deem a C-, but people got it and they got to kind of feel like they were more connected to the world or had an understanding of several things that had happened, or just cutting it and going like, oh, it's not good enough. And I feel like I'm more on the side of, let's post it. We'll try to do the best version, salvage it, but everything can't be an A. And
yeah. I mean, that's also very true.
Yeah.
And a great benefit of YouTube. Like, you just put it up and then.
But I think that's why when we were talking earlier, like your model stresses me.
it stresses me out too. I mean, it ends up putting a ton of pressure on us, but then we've done things where it's like, let's just make a video to make a video. And then it ends up not doing well. We still spent the money, having our editor work on it, still spend the time and resources of our own personal energy to do it. And then we're like, we could have just put it towards this other bigger project. But I respect both angles for sure.
Yeah. No, there's so
and if
many
it
different
helps
ways of
keep
doing
your
business.
community happy and satisfied,
Yeah.
Because you have a different situation. You got people like knocking on your door every day. Like, tell me what's going on in the world.
Yeah. And I think the show has also evolved with more people going like, okay, yeah, just give us the news. I know that if I do something without any face value, right, that video will probably do like 600, 700,000, depending on the day, right? If we kind of get swept, because most of the time we get damaged with the in the algorithm because we're talking about violence, crimes that are happening to like minors or someone in a protected class, stuff like that damages the video. So we always have to do that balance of like, and did you see this thing that happened with Robert Downey Jr.? It's crazy. They're saying he's racist for this thing that happened 15 years ago. Let's talk about that. So it's like always this weird balance, but I've tried more and more throughout the years to now go like, what are the serious stories? Like I get the most excited when we were on vacation and at like a VR thing, someone came over and like thanked me for talking about a situation in Iran. Like that was, I was like, oh my God. And saying like, oh, my family's over there. And like a lot of this stuff doesn't get represented, and feeling that makes me have a good feeling in the world. But I only get to experience it when I'm actually on vacation, because otherwise I'm in this fucking room. And I'm just like, yeah, those people probably exist.
That appreciate your work?
Yeah. The thing is, numbers don't equal people to me at this point. Obviously, those are people watching, and maybe there's like families watching together and stuff like that. But do you, like when you have a video and you talk about 3 million people, do you understand the scope of it, or is it kind of at a certain point it always kind of washes over you, like, or in a sense of it, not to minimize it, but there's only so many times you can have that same party.
Yeah, I mean the grand scale of like 1 million people is crazy.
Yeah.
But of course I'm also like, oh, it's 1 million people that clicked on it and maybe watched it for like 30 seconds. I don't know if they watched the whole thing, and you watch the retention rates and then you cry a little bit.
I was like, I don't look.
But I mean, yeah, I get what you mean about like really thinking hard about 3 million people versus like, okay, great, we hit that milestone. I can feel successful or something,